What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate Podcast. We are already 2 weeks into the NFL season. It's flying by like it always does, but we got another waiver wire show. So I think there are a lot of guys to talk about and bring up. So this week I'm going to make a separate episode for each position. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end will all have a separate episode. So whether you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast, on the feed, there's going to be a separate one for each position. So that's how we're going to do it this week. Let's hop into it. I forgot to mention, but like always, no matter what episode you're watching, whatever position you're interested in, all of these players are rostered in less than 30% of ESPN leagues. So I'm using the ESPN site, but whatever site you use, these players should be widely available and able for you to pick up this week. Let's hop into it. I have 7 running back options for you guys to pick up this week. Some of these guys are going to be immediate starts in your lineup. Some of them are going to be stashes for your bench. I'm going to start off with my most favorite, then go down to my least favorite. My number 1 running back pickup for this week is Carson Steele, running back for the Chiefs. So he has been the second back behind Isaiah Pacheco so far this season, but now Pacheco is hurt and is going to miss multiple weeks. Last week, when Pacheco went out with the injury, Steele got all of the carries. He did fumble, but it didn't look like he got punished. So it looks like he is going to be the running downs back for the Chiefs while Pacheco is out. And having the starting running back for the Chiefs, we all know is going to be super valuable. So if you can get Carson Steele, he is the number 1 option for running back this week. So I'm going to put my number 2 and my number 3 together. Dameon Pierce and Cam Akers. They are both backup running backs for the Texans. It depends on 2 things. 1, the health of these running backs, and 2, what you need on your team currently. So a little bit of background. Joe Mixon sprained his ankle in week 2, and there isn't an official report saying that Joe Mixon is out, but I doubt he plays this week, let alone the next couple of weeks. It looked like a bad high ankle sprain. So like I said, it depends on the health. So Dameon Pierce wasn't healthy last week. He didn't play. So if he's not healthy again this week, you got to go with Cam Akers. Cam Akers was the guy that came in for Joe Mixon in week 2, but he fumbled and got punished. So that's why it's a little bit tricky. I would say if you need someone to start this week in week 3, I would go Cam Akers if Dameon Pierce isn't healthy. Of course, if Dameon Pierce is healthy, you go with him no matter what. But if Dameon Pierce is out this week and you need someone for week 3, I would go Akers. If you don't need anybody for this week at all and you're just looking for a stash, I would go Dameon Pierce. I think the Texans want him over Akers for the long term while Mixon is out. So, like I said, number 2, number 3, Dameon Pierce, Cam Akers. It depends on health and what you need on your team. Number 4, we got Bucky Irving for the Buccaneers. I brought him up on last week's waiver wire show. So the reason he's number 4 is 1, I think you can start him right now currently, but also he's my favorite running back stash for this year. I'll talk about both sides. So if you're looking for someone to start this week, he's currently the number 2 behind Rachaad White. He's gotten around 10 carries per game this year. So even if he gives you 10 carries, that's start worthy in a lot of leagues. But I think he might get more work this week. 1, Rachaad White was banged up last week, so that might mean more opportunity for Bucky. 2, the Buccaneers play the Broncos, who have the worst run defense in the league, allowing over 100 yards in both games. So I think Bucky's going to get a lot of opportunity to run against a bad defense. Not to mention, I think the Buccaneers are going to be up a lot in this game, which equals more running. So that's a reason for you to pick him up if you want someone to start. But if you're looking for someone to stash, this is why he's my favorite running back stash. He's already shown more ability to run in between the tackles than Rachaad White has in his whole career. Rachaad White has not been a good in between the tackles runner in his 3 years in the league. The only thing he's been really good at is pass catching. So the fact that Bucky Irving in 2 games has shown more on tape than Rachaad White has as a running back means the Buccaneers are seeing the same thing I have. So I think the more opportunity Bucky gets to prove he's better, the Buccaneers can't keep him off the field. So long term, I really think he can get north of like 15 carries at the end of the year. So like I said, you can still start him this week, but he's a great running back stash. Number 4, Bucky Irving. Number 5, we got Tank Bigsby for the Jaguars. So I also brought him up on last week's waiver wire show. He is similar to Bucky Irving. He is a number 2 back that gets enough work to start, but also is a great stash long term. So right now, he is the number 2 back behind Travis Etienne. But in week 1, he had 12 carries for over 70 yards. Looked really good on tape, really big, really fast. The only tricky thing about starting him this week is that he left week 2 early with a shoulder injury and he didn't come back. Right now, the reports say it's minor, but if you want to start him this week, check the reports, see what he looks like practicing. So that's why he's so low on the list, just because we don't know what he is for this week. But long term as a stash, I love him. I think he is the perfect complement to what Travis Etienne does. Travis Etienne is quick and shifty. Bigsby is big and fast. So I think he continues to be a part of the offense and maybe in the future becomes the running down guy while Travis Etienne becomes the passing down guy. So number 5, Tank Bigsby for the Jaguars. Number 6 is also a repeat player from last week's waiver wire show, Justice Hill for the Ravens. So like I mentioned last week, Hill is not a super talented player. He's an average running back, but he has a cemented role as the Ravens passing downs back. When the Ravens are in third down situations, clear passing down situations, hurry up offense, stuff like that, it's Justice Hill in the game, not Derrick Henry. So last week wasn't the best game script. The Ravens were up for most of the game, even though they lost. So Derrick Henry was in a lot of the game. But week 1, we saw when the Ravens were chasing points, Hill got 6 catches. So this week, the Ravens play the Cowboys. Probably going to be a close game. Ravens are probably going to have to pass a decent amount. Hill will probably give you a solid floor. So that's why I think Hill is a good add to have on your bench for weeks like this. If you need a flex, if you need a running back that can give you a solid floor, Hill is perfect. Number 6, Justice Hill. So our last running back is really just a stash. We got Braelon Allen, backup running back for the Jets. Like I said, this is a stash. We all know Breece Hall is the number 1 for the Jets. But in week 2, he showed flashes. Even with Breece Hall playing, Braelon Allen had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So it looks like Rodgers already trusts this young guy, and he looked pretty good on tape. So if Breece Hall goes down, it's good to have this guy on your bench because he can win you weeks and even win you a league. So have Braelon Allen on your bench if you have a roster spot to use. I also want to bring up some streaming defenses for you guys. I have 3 options for you, all under 30% rostered. My number 1 pickup is the Raiders defense. Last week against the Ravens, they played really well, and now they play the Carolina Panthers, who have struggled to even score a touchdown in every game. Next, I got the Packers, who also have played really well both weeks. They locked up Anthony Richardson last week, and now they play the Tennessee Titans with a turnover-prone Will Levis. And last, Buccaneers. I'm honestly not a huge fan of their defense. They have let up a lot of points, but now they play Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix has also been very turnover-prone. So those are 3 streaming options for you guys for defense. Like I said, I am going to have a separate episode for every position. If you're interested in all positions, check out every single episode. If you're interested in just one position, I have it separated out for you guys. Thanks for watching. I love all of you.